Path of Night, War of Ages is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. And so continues the War of Ages.
Last time on War of Ages. Roland spoke with Sadhbh about the dangers of navigating their tempers. Zorion learned more about the local court and its complications. At the festival, high clans and low clans split off. Alexios and Sadhbh saw the corpses of Salubri and Bruja strung up as a warning at the low clan's party. Zorion, Catrinel, and Roland made their introductions to the prince and his company. They all received hospitality and were invited to stay for the joust. Roland Roncevaux, it is time for you to demonstrate your strength. You move aside to an area where knights have been preparing for their chances at glory. And Zorion has sent one of his agents, a man who introduces himself to you as Ambrose. He is the largest and strongest of Zorion's men. Perhaps not quite as tall and strong are you, but powerful in his own right. And practiced, he helps you into your armor. He avoids the wrath of your steed, who does not like it when others come close to it, and very professionally prepares you for your joust. When you are in your armor, he rests a hand over your shoulder. He lowers his head, non-verbally indicating for you to do the same. And he will praise God and thank God for this opportunity and for your night, and praise for your safety, and above all, your victory.
Roland bows his head in silent prayer. He says nothing aloud, but he does bow his head as part of the steps of religious devotion, as part of that prayer, and he accepts being prayed over, taking comfort in the ritual, even, of putting on armor, of preparing, of checking the straps on Violenteux's saddle, checking his armor, and even in the words, even if he doesn't repeat them aloud. Because Garrett, Ambrose is probably praying in what? German? Arabic?
Actually, he's probably praying in Latin.
In Latin? Roland does not speak Latin, but he's obviously been to Mass and has heard Latin, so he knows the cadence of prayer.
You might know the rote sound of some of these prayers might be familiar to you.
In fact, the rote sound of Latin prayer is a common measure of time, and so just Roland doesn't have a heartbeat too slow in time with the prayer, but he takes that moment of calm, all potential energy waiting for the joust to begin. And then when the prayers are over, he looks up and in Romanian, which seems to have, at least amongst the Cainites in the group, been the common language, goes, "Thank you, Ambrose, for your assistance and your words. Your Domitor."
Yes.
Where did the two of you meet?
In war. Ugly war.
War is so often extremely ugly, no? You have my sympathy and my admiration for your devotion to him.
Well, he kind of clasps your armor. Perhaps you will earn my admiration.
I certainly hope so. I have never seen any of these joust before. We will see how they perform upon the list. And he looks down the row to see, even having said I've never seen any of these people before, whether or not any, familiar faces are at this tournament, and really to measure up the competition as he looks down.
In this region, you're really not going to see anyone that is as famed or recognizable as you would in France. But they are sturdy-looking individuals. Their armor is of good quality. The fabrics and means by which they kind of peacock for the audience is bright and bold colors. So, I mean, if they are not competent and worthy opponents, they're certainly dressed like such.
A question of vanity, I guess. I'm wearing my best, and it is from France, but we've been road traveled for a while. There were times when Saïv and I were living a little hard. Do I look all right? Or do I stand out as being a little poorer than all these Ventrue court members?
Their fabrics are in better condition than yours, but the fashions by which they are kind of cut and arranged, by the way they carry themselves, are from a half-decade previous to the kind of bleeding edge of knightly fashion that is France.
One last question for that sort of Roland habitually looks down the line on, one he can never quite stop himself from looking at, both tactically and vainly. He compares every other steed here.
No, nothing is anywhere near your steed. Your horse would eat them, and you know that. You actually... Even you know that I'm not exaggerating, you need to keep your horse away from their horses or it will eat them.
A common problem with Gould horses, but Violenteux is exceptional in many ways. So even knowing that, I need to keep them away from them.
Yeah, as a predatory monster horse, it will kill and eat them.
Good. I continue to brush him down and just exchange some pleasant words with Ambrose.
He is very good company. He's kind of a sturdy, worldly man who has seen a lot of bad things, but has not been turned into an utter curmudgeon because of it. Instead, there's just kind of a quiet wisdom to him. He's got a lot of almost like Liam Neeson energy, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Where he has seen very, very bad things in the world, but still seems to believe that there can be good things.
Like I would do with a squire that I have been with for years, I just ask his opinion on who to look out for, what tactics each of them might be, where their weak spots are, like all things he's looking at himself, but it is an arrogant man who does not think he has something to learn from others.
Ambrose will point out one thing. It does seem that this prince's favorite knight demonstrates some means by which he is piercing armor supernaturally. So beware of an underhanded technique.
I look at the tournament list and I will ask whether the seneschal or the tournament organizer or whoever it is, every region is different. What are the rules of engagement for this joust? Every Hastelud is different.
And it's 3 and you seek to unseat your opponent.
As in 3 charges, and if you can unseat your opponent, you are best. If no one is unseated, is it 2 out of 3 strikes?
Yep.
Okay. I will then look. Are people gathering, or do we still have a little bit of time?
It looks like people are actually gathering.
Okay.
The Low Clan is gathered and enjoying music. As they are spending their time together, a handful of other Canaanites arrive. A trio of women with bright red, wildly untamed hair, who sort of come out dressed in peasants' clothes, covered in filth and mud, but with bright eyes and wide, wide grins.
Sadhbh is singing, but she nods and welcomes them. Do they look like the people she used to hang out with?
They look wildly unhinged. So in some ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But distinct enough to know that this is kind of a local little trio. They will dance to your music, and they will specifically dance circles around Alexios.
That's a little weird.
I need some dice. Alexios, you're having a pretty good time.
Generally.
But they have ideas on how good of a time you should be having.
Am I not up to their standards?
In their eyes, you lack passion. They have 2 successes. Well, the first one has 2 successes. Your sanguine humor is inflamed. And when this happens, your vision blurs slightly. And you don't recall having a sensation like this, not since life. And you're confused and excitable, and your inhibitions grind down to the shadow of what they once were. And Sadhbh will notice that as the 3 dance around Alexios to your music, they begin to laugh and kind of take on this flirtatious body language. And slowly, a smile appears on Alexios' face and begins to stretch wider and wider as he begins to dance around with them. The third of the trio takes his hand, and now it's 4 dancing together in a circle, and they maneuver towards another person who becomes swept up in this circle dancing that they are making. And they just sort of keep going and going as people prepare for the joust. And the dancing and the laughter and the excitement, you see it spike dramatically in what was already a very, very good time.
I don't love this. This has the possibility to draw a lot of attention. And I don't really want that. Is it reasonable to assume that something has been done with disciplines of the blood? Or is Sadhbh just too new to this?
Where Sadhbh came from, were there very many Malkavians?
I don't believe so.
Well, they are a very unique clan, which means you may see this as a very unique circumstance.
I would like to make an empathy on one of the witches. Ideally, if they were walking over as a group of 3, the middle one. Would my spec of sense motives come into play here?
Sure.
5 successes.
You start to piece together, especially once they get very handsy with Alexios, that these 3 women intend to instigate an orgy. And they're going to do it right in view of Prince Rikard.
The guy that was creating the fairy illusions, have they garnered him into the...
You're not sure if they actually did anything to him, but he's in.
Okay. So Saïve is kind of 2 minds. She can either buzzkill this, or let the people have a good time and just take Alexios and leave, and hope that he snaps out of it once they're out of arm's reach. But ultimately, no, she's going to try and buzzkill this shit, because this whole thing is... people should have to choose, and they're not being given a choice.
We cut to the High Clans. As the group of you share war stories and conceal some of the more complex, dangerous politics behind a much more polite veneer than things had begun with, Prince Rikard, despite being on the precipice of his perfect night and everything he wants from this joust, for some reason, his expression becomes glum. And the 2 of you and Lady Dogmara seem to notice the source of his growing ire. And across the row, on the other side, out of the way of the mortal populace, you see that the Low Clans are dancing wildly. And to the untrained eye, it would appear that 3 lawless witches have initiated some rite among the Low Clan. And you hear the ghost of a sigh come from the venture. Not again.
She doesn't say anything, but Catrinel will look at what's drawing his ire, almost like lazily, the way that someone might look at a passing bird. It's ritualistic in behavior from this angle.
To you, it clearly appears to be a group of largely perfectly normal Canaanites being swept up in a wave of sin. And these ecstatic Malkavians are just making sure that the Low Clan party is the right kind of party for Low Clan.
Are there any mortals within sight of where we're at? Or is this sort of very separate from the mortal populace?
It's very segregated, and the lighting that is here at the joust is rather strategic. The way the illumination is placed kind of draws attention to the row and not to the laughing, suggestive Canaanites who are playing in the dark.
She is practiced in the art of schooling her expression. Usually, that is more so to avoid flashing her fangs off in the wrong circumstance, or just the usual politics and importance of carrying yourself in nobility, any of that. At this moment, the amusement and satisfaction glimmers in that light that sometimes shines reddish in her eyes. She's keeping quiet about it, though. She knows she's sitting right next to them and that it's not the time to grin.
Zorion, how close is he to Rikard?
You are seated very close to him. Both of you are, actually.
Then he kind of casually leans over and quietly, "Is there something the matter, my grace?"
The city has had a past where a relationship with the Malkavian clan has been in flux. These 3 in particular have found their way past my guard on more than one occasion, snuck into our events and disrupted them with wildly inappropriate behavior. sexual in nature, he says with complete fucking contempt.
Catrinel tilts her head almost in the way of someone who is going, oh no. But those of you who have spent enough time with her can recognize that it's more that almost animalistic interest tilt of the head that she's converting into I'm listening to your polite sort of expression.
Never has this party sucked more than right now, where you're seated next to these bitches while they are having a wonderful time.
Zorion smiles and kind of arches an eyebrow at the prince. You do realize what they are doing. They are burdening you with their desires. They are trying to get a rise out of you, my prince. It is the burden of us in high positions to look down upon this orgy. But do not let it make you mad. The low clans will roll in the shit and mud. All you need do is sit there and look regal. Let the Malkavians play around. If you lower yourself to their level, they have won.
I am well accustomed to looking down at these Malkavians, but perhaps one night they will be worthy of my attention and be possessed of some form of decorum rather than this.
Zorion puts a hand on the prince's shoulder. Your Grace, I would hope that you never have to worry about this again. You have many friends who will make sure decorum is seen. And Zorion gives him a nod.
Such friends are deeply valued. Roland begins to trot out on his horse.
Roland, fully bedecked in armor at this point, holding a lance in one hand and a good heater shield in the other, rides out onto the list on Violentiu, who is fully armored, barded with chain and quilting, and looks for the first time maybe since any of you have seen him as like a full and proper warrior knight.
What does he have on his shield?
Roland's tabard has his crest on the chest, on his breast, and is also painted onto his shield. It is a black outline with a scalloped, bumpy yellow shield in the middle, and then in the middle of that is a red lion with a long tail and all sorts of like little designs on it, lying en passant. It is like a stalking lion. His tabard is mostly black and red with that black and yellow crest on the breast as well. His armor is just chain, just very well cared for, polished chain. And he has a bucket helm, one of those traditional, almost like Crusader bucket helms.
Great helm.
Like a great helm. Not on yet, but tucked under his shield arm so that the crowd can see his smiling, shining, confident, not quite bordering on arrogant face. I think this is probably a time, Lex, to mention that with appearance 4, Roland has a appearance spec, dashing. Especially riding out onto the lists, he looks every bit the picture of the desirable romantic knight. As Violentiu trots out onto the list, also carrying that same sort of bordering on arrogant confidence that his rider has, Roland, instead of going to his place to begin his joust against, frankly, whatever opponent he has, trots up towards the prince's box, ignoring the timing, raises a lance to the crowd, sort of assuming, based on his iconography, that this crowd might be aware of his fame, as this is a tournament, and knows who he is, and will ride along the crowd towards the prince's box.
The crowd reacts quite positively to your arrival, and there are cheers. On a couple of occasions, you're even called out by name.
When Roland arrives at the prince's box, he lifts his lance a little bit higher in salute to the prince.
He seems to acknowledge your salute.
And then lowers it and sidles Violante close and looks directly at Lady Dogmata. My lady, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge your presence here on the stands today, and if I might be perhaps bolder than wisdom says I should be, I would be much honored if you would grant me your favor for this tournament.
The creepy, cold, demeanored canine is warmed by the gesture, and despite her clear age and confidence and cunning, she bends a bit to the big handsome man coming and seeking her favor. All too delighted, but not too quick to give it. She gives you her favor in the form of black fabric.
When she takes the black fabric from her outfit, he lowers his lance
And
that
she will
she might tie it,
graciously tie it.
and then straightens, bows his head with very sincere seeming deep respect. The honor is, of course, mine. I will endeavor my best to win this tournament on your behalf, despite, of course, the talent shown by those favored by the prince. And he will turn to Rikard and nod very graciously, like, however I might do, everyone you've put up, everyone you like, is really cool and talented, Your Grace.
After you say that, you return to the row.
Yes.
As you turn, you notice that there's a very rambunctious thing going on amongst the Low Clan, and there are 3 filthy, red-headed peasant women, and one of them calls out, "To Roncevaux!" And she will lift her skirt and call out that she has your favor right here and will expose herself to you.
Roland is a paragon of courage and self-control. But it is only the onward motion of Violante, who is eager to get to the fight, that stops maybe all but the most perceptible from seeing him freeze up and be like, wait, what?
I need a charisma plus etiquette roll to not be thrown into an awkward moment.
That is so fair. My etiquette is a 3, and my charisma is a 3. What is the difficulty I'm looking for?
This is difficulty 5.
Okay, well, with difficulty 5, I got 2 successes.
Okay. You managed to keep from smirking or laughing or anything too obvious in response to her brilliant humor.
And Roland will ride out to his starting position on the list and use the motion of, like, putting his great helm on to sort of shake himself loose. I don't even know who I'm fighting. Like, literally, I've just done this whole thing. I haven't even seen who my opponent is. I'm just going out and doing a performance, frankly. It is at this point, with the helm in place, double-checking all his straps, that he will look across the field to his opponent.
A rider joins Knight, comparatively unnoticed by the audience. But they have quality equipment, they're poised, and they seem sufficiently confident to participate in the joust without undue risk to their well-being. Deftly, they'll prepare to engage you, and we'll have a joust.
I am going to be spending, because we'll just do this in a round, I didn't do like crazy prep or anything, I am going to be spending 2 points of vitae to bolster my strength. I am going to be spending 1 point of vitae for celerity, and I am going to split my action 3 ways.
Okay.
I know we don't do the declare beforehand, but one is for the lance charge, one is for the unhorsed maneuver, and one is for a parry to take his lance on my shield.
And they are going to attempt the unhorsed maneuver. Initiative. They are going on a 7.
I rolled a 3, unfortunately, so I'm going on a 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay.
In Dark Ages, celerity is different. It doesn't give you a shit ton of free actions at the end of the round, and you don't have to spend 1 for 1 on your celerity. You only spend 1 blood for the round, and it reduces your multi-action penalties and allows you to split for extra attacks, whereas otherwise, basically, unless you have celerity, you cannot attack ever more than once. I'm going to say this out loud for myself because it helps through the steps. For joust, first you have to hit with a lance charge maneuver, which is at +1 difficulty. And then if you hit with that, you may use a multi-action to use a unhorsed maneuver at +2 difficulty. If you don't have celerity to spend, it would be at a +2 difficulty and then a +3 difficulty, respectively. I will be going first, I guess. I will first make my lance charge. Does he have a shield as well?
He does.
That increases the difficulty of attacks against... Well, it's a heater, right?
Yes.
So it increases the difficulty of attacks against him by +1. So I am looking for 8s. I have a spec in ride combat, so I will be blowing 10s. I will not spend any willpower on this. Because this is not like the Prince's Champion or anything. This is just a guy.
Correct.
Oh, shit. That is 8 successes.
Okay, you hit.
Because it's the lance charge maneuver, I will be using Violentieus's strength instead of mine. He is a strength 10. But I will not, for this fight, he will not be spending a point of vitae.
Okay.
For his potence too. So it is his strength +3 for the lance charge maneuver, +7 rollover. So I'm rolling 20 dice. Yeah. Lex, does my strength spec in strong back apply to lance blows?
Yes.
That is 10 successes.
He will soak 3 levels of damage and is incapacitated with bashing damage.
No, you should still be up, right?
7 health levels.
Yeah, I rolled 10. He soaked 3, and then it's halved because it's bashing. He's a vampire, right?
No.
This isn't a vampire?
Did you check?
No.
I guess I didn't check. Man, I'm not used to not having auspex. Well, I did split my action, and it's all part of a single action for the unhorse. So, but presumably
He's unhorsed, dude. He's
flies
unconscious.
off. Yeah, all right.
He hangs off the horse as it rides on past.
Roland continues on and then wheel Violentio around to prepare for the second go. See the dude unconscious on the ground.
The knight in service to Prince Rikard is reduced to a heap in the field.
You cannot tell because I'm wearing a fucking great helm, but Roland looks simultaneously proud and a little ashamed, oh shit, I didn't know I was supposed to be pulling my punches. I thought this was a real tournament. We'll ride up to the guy, jump off Violentio, lift him, and raise his arm up to give the guy his dignity.
He is crumpled and limp.
After dropping the arm, I will hug him and clap his back good job. I know he's unconscious, but I'm strong enough to just hold him up. Do that until his squires come to get him.
They make their way out, and he is collected, and everyone sort of makes their exit from the field.
In the stands, Zorion kind of just looks disdainfully at the joust. I was expecting to see more excitement. This was anticlimactic.
Prince Rikard at first looks disappointed at the savagery displayed by the Bruja. But when he lifts the man's arms, the crowd reacts positively. He seems to withhold any displeasure he might have for the Bruja for now. Prince Rikard looks over his shoulder to Zorion Yes, it would seem that your companion is of a certain caliber.
I hoped that your man Emilric knows how to put on a better show than him, though.
We have one. One who stands out above the rest.
Your sheriff, yes?
Yes. Why don't we make arrangements and see to it that their paths cross? And he will kind of gesture for one of his servants to come over, and he starts whispering to me. Saif.
Saif thinks for a minute about exactly how she wants to handle this, and she thinks back to Zorion saying, make sure that heaven and earth are on your side, and heaven's probably not going to like any of this, so that's a foregone conclusion. But this is not the kind of attention she really wants drawn to herself, and so she decides to change the kind of attention that's being brought to the area. She is going to start playing a lullaby. And I would like to use awe to try and give these people something else to think about rather than orgy-tastic sex.
Trying to harsh the vibe?
Yes, I am exactly trying to harsh the vibe. And the vibe I would like them to have when they look at me is piety.
Okay.
Simple home life, soft quietness, the opposite of rowdy. And I will spend a willpower to give myself at least one success. And that'll be 4 successes. 20 people. To go after that, I would also like to make a performance roll. The social feat, which would be to change the vibe of the area.
Okay.
3 successes on the performance.
Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. Guardian angels, God will send thee all through the night.
Saif causes the dancing to slow, and some of the energy of the party to drain.
Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping.
Some of the Canaanites begin to sit down, some pay more attention to the joust, some sort of become listless.
I, my loving vigil keeping all through the night, while the moon her watch is keeping all through the night, while the weary world is sleeping all through the night.
Alexios, one of these women, all 3 of them look very similar to each other, seems to lean against you as the slower music is played, and she sort of traces her nose up the side of your neck, and you feel the sharpness of fangs pierce into your skin, and a flush of ecstasy. Now, because you're a Canaanite, you are not crippled by the kiss. You're able to resist her, should you choose to, but very slowly and very deliberately, she drinks from you.
Alexios is going to let her take 1 or 2, and then if she doesn't stop, I'm going to start slowly pushing her off of my neck.
Her objective is very clear, and it is not to rob you of your blood pool or anything like that. The sensation is the point. And as she drinks from you and licks up drops of blood that fall loose, she does something else.
Getting whammied again?
Yeah, you are. Tim.
What did you do to me now?
My dear friend. As she drinks from you,
Literally done nothing.
the other two Malkavians take you by the hands and bring you down into the mud with them. And as this happens, she brazenly mounts you. And as she moves on drinking the second trait of Vitae from your pool, she's doing this very, very slowly, very deliberately. You feel a sensation quake through you. And all of your senses become heightened to the experience. It quickly becomes clear that this one kiss from a K-Knight frankly puts the night of your embrace to shame. But one kiss becomes two, and two becomes three. And as she grinds against you, feeding on you, her sisters join in. And you will lose 3 total traits of blood.
We're still in the acceptable range. I don't know necessarily what these effects are.
Here's how it works.
Right.
You are so deeply enticed that any wound penalties you suffer are doubled. Any conscience/conviction or self-control/instinct rolls that you make suffer a -2 die penalty.
Oh, no.
As you find more and more with every little touch. The slightest breeze against your skin out here in the night drives you wild. One of them whispers to you, and you can feel her lips and the air of her words brush against your ear. You're Nofrit's friend, right?
Okay. Before I answer this question,
Yeah.
I need to know,
Yeah.
do I feel stressed?
So here's basically the way this is going to go. You actually get to decide how you feel, but how you feel is tuned up.
Gotcha.
So if you feel uncomfortable when she says that, you feel very uncomfortable.
I just wanted to know because one of my flaws come into effect
They have
if I am stressed.
not disarmed your ability to make decisions.
Yep. Okay.
This is temptation. This is not mind control.
Roger. Yeah, I'm a Nofrit's friend. Are you Nofrit's friend?
Yes. We're all Nofrit's friend.
I mean, that's true.
Tim, what is your perception plus self-control?
How many of these are you unleashing on me here, Chief? 5.
What has been done shall affect you for the next year.
Oh my god.
Jesus. Come on, man.
This is an audio medium. After Lex made that roll, his eyebrows shot up in the most disconcerting way, but I feel like it just needs to be said.
It's so fucking stressful watching it.
Oh my god.
So what thing am I suffering for here? The important part of this?
Roland, we cut to...
Lex, from the stands, it seems as though the larger orgy has maybe dispersed a little bit, but it looks like there's a smaller, intense one happening. Is it negligible from the stands?
How well can
Like
we see it?
The peasants do shit like this in the mud all the time, but it's not a crowd, right?
It is not a crowd. And the two of you can clearly make out that at the heart of this festivity is Alexios.
Took the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Situation is being handled.
Catrinel had been acting as if her attention was fully and completely on the joust, and in reality, it's a solid 50-50. She is deeply curious to see how good is Roland really. The way that he moves, the way that he won, is deeply interesting. Also, there's an entire orgy happening over there, so her attention is split, and as she starts to see the energy shift, she can't hear the change in music very well over the buzz of the crowd. She might not know the influence that someone's had on the change of circumstance, but it makes it a little easier to lazily focus attention on the joust. A hint of disappointment.
Nova Arpad seems to notice what's going on, and she looks to Prince Rikard. It seems your Malkavian situation is being handled. He looks, and when he sees that the Malkavians are not going to continue bothering the knights who are trying to joust, there's a subtle sigh of relief.
As I told you, my grace, you have friends in the city who handle things swiftly.
You say the word swiftly in that context. And while she doesn't let anything further onto her expression, and the movement is slow and just as easily mistaken for her looking over at you when you speak, Catrinel looks at you at that word, and then looks back, like no notice had been taken.
Zorion, on the other hand, is staring at Nova Arpad to let her know that, this is in control and in hand.
Nova Arpad, and this quick look that Catrinel is close enough to perceive and is already paying attention enough to the situation. By and large, the Kainites' presence do not notice. But there is a, threatened, curious, and sort of hungry look that she gives you. Zorion.
Yep. Catrinel, spectating this, she bites her lip just a little, like she's running her tongue over the edge of her lip for the taste of it. And she allows a small smile and puts it away pretty quickly, runs her tongue over her tooth, and keeps that in her periphery.
Roland, they sort of put you out of order for the tournament. And as things draw towards the end of the competition, you find yourself watching others, and you start to feel slightly insulted that you may have been sidelined, but you sort of come to realize as they demonstrate their skill and prowess that these are not people you should be competing against.
Let me ask you a question, because I've seen stuff like this before. I know the prince has a champion, his favored guy who was prancing around in the field earlier. Are these guys competing amongst themselves to see who can be the most famous jobber for the prince's champ? Is that basically what's happening?
You actually kind of get the impression that the sheriff of this city has also largely been sidelined.
Ah, okay.
It would seem that the individuals organizing this tournament have experienced such a skill disparity that they have needed to make adjustments in order to kind of just not ruin the tournament.
Entertain the crowd.
Yes. And as things draw towards the apex of this tournament, as the crowd is really kind of into it, there's been a lot of really cool moments, because even middling knights against other middling knights can still seem very entertaining.
If you it's skill matchup, not skill disparity, that's fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you are next called, a knight clad in yellow and black, who is wearing the Ventru clan crest on his shield, and adorning his armor with symbols representative of Rome at its height during the rule of the Ventru and during the time that Carthage was snuffed from existence.
Okay.
Takes to the field. And he seems aware that you were a Bruja. And he looks down at your shield and looks at you, and even though the crowd is cheering your name and not his, he seems, for some reason, unimpressed. There's a tap on your armor as you begin to focus and prepare to engage this Ventru who clearly holds disdain for your clan and your lineage. You feel a tap against your armor.
Roland is completely focused on the Carthage symbol, almost to the exclusion of everything else. And one of the things he's not doing as he checks this guy out is meeting his eye. Because I've tilted against Ventru before, and they're fucking scumbags. So when the tap comes, he almost starts, not out of fear, but out of like, don't
You're
interrupt
disturbed
me.
from your focus.
Stop it. And he looks over at who just bothered him while he's focused.
I know, my friend. It is good that you are focused. But Zorion, my lord, has expressed to me that there is a need for 3 tilts, and you must not unseat him until the 3rd.
Roland, he's not wearing his helmet right now, and he looks down at Ambrose.
My lord says that you have demonstrated incredible power, but you must not do so in a way that shames our hosts. Show them the dignity that they could never show you.
It is very clear, probably to Ambrose, that the next words that Roland was going to utter were, "Why should I care what Zorion wants?" And then when he talks about shame and shaming his hosts, there's like a settling, like he puts that aside and nods, takes a breath, and goes, "Well then, we wouldn't want to deny the prince or your Domitor a good show."
Does Roland look up to the stands at all for that?
He very pointedly does not until he puts that shit aside. Like, there is a bristling of, I'm the fucking tournament knight, don't tell me what to do. And then when Ambrose mentions, like, it's because of the prince and expectations and we want to do stuff, even from the stands, Zorion can probably see him put those emotions aside, and when he does, he looks up.
Zorion's eyes are focused like a feline predator, staring at Roland, as if to say, your life is my choice and you work for me now. Clearly readable, and it is an honest look.
Why don't you give me an empathy roll, if you could, perception empathy,
I ain't
on
got none of
Ambrose.
that.
Yeah, on Ambrose.
This is not as good as my jousting pool. I did get 1 success, though.
Okay. You kind of realize, based on that look, that Ambrose was taking creative liberties from his actual instructions to Zorion and how he related them to you, a warrior with a mentality and disposition that Ambrose is clearly very familiar with. And he has basically taken Zorion's demands and then couched them in the social expectations that you are accustomed to. Confident that he has convinced you, all right, we're good. He turns to move away from you to give you your space and do your job, and he gives his master a confident nod that his will is done.
For a moment, you might actually have seen insight into the actual man of Zorion.
When Zorion gives him that look, there is a genuine flint of hard hate in the middle of Roland that may or may not, depending on how empathetic Zorion is, communicate the idea, genuinely, I have killed greater for less.
Zorion's stare was disdainful at first, and seeing how hard Roland is in his response, a smile kind of cracks at the corner of his lips.
Roland, as he pulls his eyes away from Zorion and wheels Violentio onto the list, will say just loud enough for Ambrose and Ambrose alone to hear. I wonder how many men have died beneath the hooves of stallions they attempted to break. And we'll ride out onto the field.
Alexios, their suggestive behavior, by the time Roland is riding onto the field, stops being merely suggestive. And unless stopped, they are going to begin having sex with you in the mud, in the shadow of this jousting tournament.
I forgot there was a jousting tournament. I've kind of forgot that we were in the city altogether, probably at this point. With this kind of like amplification going on, yeah, it's probably happening because I am lost.
They are strange and animalistic, and you are having a great time. Saïv.
I'm really trying not to look, but also at the same time. So here's the thing. Alexios seems like a chill guy. If he wants to get his rocks off in the mud, good for him. That being said, she is not 100% convinced he's really actually consenting to this, because he got that weird smile on his face, and then he started dancing around, and he stopped talking, and he stopped trying to skulk around in the dark shadows, and that's a little weird. I had that aura percept on the back burner, so I'm going to use that now, but I'm going to pop heightened senses sight first, because I want all the details of what's going on. I want to look at exactly what he's going to be putting his dick in. What's up with these bitches?
Well, if your objective was what he's going to be putting his dick in, you have already failed. The opportunity to find out before he did it came and went.
Well, whatever he's putting his dick in, then. All right, that's 4 successes to aura percept, I guess, the one that's on top.
With 4 successes, you can see 4 colors and can detect any subtle shifts within them. The first you see is a myriad of sparkles. The second you see is a warping, hypnotic purple. It shifts from that deep purple into violet. And every now and again is the most subtle hint of blue. You recognize the signs of witchcraft, aggression. You can feel the violet hue of her excitement. And perhaps not for Alexios himself. You sense her love.
Saïv is not inherently against witchcraft. By definition, she can't be.
No, but for a moment you do wonder, does your aura ever have blue? Has your aura ever had blue?
As she's finishing an extended drum solo as she's been staring at them in the mud.
They make use of it.
Alexios, are you okay with all of this?
Alexios, you think you hear something.
I mean, there's a lot of noise going on.
The storyteller has ruled that you hear it.
Okay, no, I wasn't sure.
The decision you have to make is whether or not you care.
So I heard the words distinctly.
Yes.
Okay. That is a difference. It's going okay.
You're good with this happening, because otherwise I'm just going to give you privacy. As much as I can.
Kind of then remembers that it's not private.
Alexios, before you can answer, there is a tongue rolling in your mouth and drawing your attention. And then there's something wrong with the tongue. It's longer. It doesn't quite have the human sensation of a mortal's tongue or even a canine tongue. And for a moment you hesitate, but you open your eyes and you see, having given you a very, very deep kiss, is the jackal-headed god who commands your loyalty. And riding you in this moment is Anubis, guardian of the dead.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a frenzy.
You are at -2 dice to this check.
Which status is this? Self-control?
Yes, sir.
Cool. I'm debating on the willpower spent on my single die.
Man, do not roll a 1.
Yeah, I will spend the willpower. So, that's a 1 success.
When you succeed, she whispers to you, this terrifying jackal-headed god, and says, I'm going to make you see God.
I am going to spend 2 blood to increase my strength and push her off of me and face first into the ground.
You
Or attempt.
make a strength athletics check.
Thank you.
She does not at all resist you throwing her off of you, but let's see how well you throw her.
I'll take success.
She's very much herself once you throw her away from you, no longer the jackal-headed god that is riding you. And she and her sisters, maybe her sisters,
Yeah,
it's not
sisters, good
actually
enough. Yeah,
very
yeah.
clear, kind of make whining noises and do not seem happy that you've stopped the fun.
Do not do that.
What would you like me to do?
I prefer to keep my own visions, thank you.
2 of them look at the third. You said you wouldn't do that.
I will give an allowance, but I am not pleased. There must be a penalty for this one then. Come, do something.
As you wish.
Thank you.
Saeed is just kind of watching this.
Right after she said she'd give privacy.
She can't.
I didn't promise I'd give privacy.
It's like a nature documentary. She's out there taking notes.
Alexios, maybe we just leave?
Am I still under the effects of crazy amounts of sensational problems?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I mean, do we need to go? Is it done? It kind of takes a look over to the jousting field.
When you look over, they're right about to tilt.
Catrinel had been keeping aware for distraction, and I feel that the timing might be right. She needs a moment where the others here are not looking at her, but she might be able to catch Zorion's eye.
The High Clans are all watching with rapt fascination Alexios.
So if I manage to catch Zorion's eye throughout this, Catrinel over-enunciates. She doesn't actually speak. She's mouthing the words to you. She wants you. Then she gives a slight tilt to the head towards Nova Arpad.
Zorion gives you a flat stare and just kind of nods as if to say, obviously.
And Catrinel gives you a little luxurious stretch as she gets back into position to watch, of course, the joust. Which, 50-50, like I said.
After you kind of relax in your position, he smiles at you in a way of like, I think we're going to be a very good team, you and I.
She gives you a big, toothy, feigned grin back, just for a moment before she puts it away, touches her tongue to the tip of one of those sharp fangs, and settles herself.
After the pure joy that is watching Alexios, the gangrel, and these three Malkavians interact, all attention at the tournament, regardless of class and stature, focuses in on the row. The sheriff, Borislav Emmerich, and Roland de Roncevaux face off. It is clear they can read the man's anticipation and his clear interest in unseating you and striking you as brutally as he can muster.
Before we charge, I'm going to spend a little more blood, and I'm going to bolster my strength that 1 extra point so that I am at natural strength 7. And I am also going to bolster my dexterity, because unfortunately, I have to draw this out, which involves some risk. So I'm going to do my best. Roland will wheel Violentio around and raise his lance in noble salute to Emmerich, genial acknowledgement of his opponent's skill, as if he were impervious to the man's hatred. More a show for the crowd than for Emmerich himself. And then he will fall into position, ready for the flags to drop.
He readies himself just the same. And after a moment, you are signaled to charge. He's going on a 9.
I'm going on a 22.
You're up first.
I am not spending for celerity this round, and I am splitting my action just into 2, which means I'm not going for an unhorsed maneuver. He has a shield, so it's going to increase all attacks against him by +1.
That's right.
I am going to go for a targeted strike. I assume this will probably be difficulty 9 because it is a very small target, and I'm going to try and, while to the crowd it might look like I had a glancing bad blow, I'm going to try and strike the Carthage off his armor.
Okay, let's do it.
I will be spending willpower for this because this is going to be difficulty 10. Presumably my spec in combat riding applies.
Yes.
Then I have 3 successes.
You may roll that into damage.
Once again, using Violentio's strength +3. Violentio is not spending 4 potence this strike. Oh my god. Fuck, I'm so sorry, Emmerich. 11 damage will go through, and also, by hitting this glancing blow, his armor is destroyed, unless it's magical in some way.
It is not. He has 4 successes to soak. He will be taking 3 levels of bashing damage. As the group of you pass one another, he attempts to hit you and unhorse you.
Because I split my action, which gave me penalties because I didn't spend for celerity, I will be using my second action with my shield to block so that he cannot hit me.
Yep.
As well.
Oh, he's at +1 diff to you?
He is at +1 diff to hit me, and horseman, so he's looking for 8s.
Yeah.
I have 2 successes on the block.
He has 6 to hit you.
When he goes to strike me by splitting, does it look like he has celerity?
Yes. He has 3 successes.
Does my stamina spec of stalwart apply?
Yes.
Knight's armor is 5.
About that.
I see.
Whatever technique it is that he is using will reduce your armor rating by 3.
So I only have 2 armor.
Right.
So, fun fact, it has not come up yet. Roland is tougher than the average individual, and because of a fun merit on my sheet, I roll soak at diff 5.
Okay.
Or rather, at -1 diff.
What is that merit?
Tough as nails. I will soak 3 of it.
That will soak all damage.
make a show of taking the hit as the two combatants like pass each other and smash into each other. For the audience, it probably looks like there was two really, maybe Roland's
There
glow
are
was a little
loud crashing sounds that come from the two of you, and people are standing up now, and this is clearly the moment that both Mortal and K-Knight have been waiting for.
As I wheel around, though, I will wheel around, and Roland is holding himself in such a way, only to those who are experts at this, that no, you didn't really hit me. And then we will ride again.
In the stands, Zorion leans towards the prince. Finally, we have a match that is worth viewing. It seems that your man is the match of Roland's.
He looks on with pride. Yes, indeed. And with all of the minor complications addressed, we can properly enjoy this demonstration of athleticism. And he, having required Catrinel sit right by him before, very subtly rests his hand on her lap. Quote unquote subtly. Ah, yes. Very good.
Catrinel moves slowly. This hand that's been put in her lap by this prince who would have portraiture of dragons being stabbed all throughout his event. And she takes the pointed tip of her own fingernail and draws it along the heel of his hand as if noting that his hand is in her lap and toying with it. And then she takes that tip of the fingernail and, on his pinky finger, pops it under the seam and uses vicissitude to pop that fingernail off.
Let's roll a vicissitude and make a body crafts roll.
Hopefully I have enough vicissitude for that. I have 2. I'm not quite...
2's enough. 3 is bone, 2 is flesh.
Hell yeah.
The difficulty for this roll at base is 5, but you have a merit that modifies the difficulty.
Catrinel has an acute sense of touch. Just naturally, innately, her sense of touch, the way that she understands and processes sensation in this world, is stronger than others, and that tends to make her vicissitude sharper. So down
you're
to
at
3.
difficulty 3.
I have a dexterity of 2 at the moment, and I have a specialization in crafts for a body.
So you're 5 dice, difficulty 3. If you spend any points of blood, you can increase your dexterity for this roll. For the scene, technically.
I think I will. I'll spend an additional point of blood so that I have a higher dexterity, just in case he needs more fingernails lost to get the point. So that brings me up to 3. 3 successes.
With 3 successes, and this will reduce his appearance score by 1. It is exactly as you intended, and his fingernail slips right off as though there was nothing keeping it in place all along. And he doesn't say anything, he doesn't even look at you, but he very quickly pulls his hand back as though he had touched a hot stove.
Catrinel sets her hands primly in her own lap, taking up the space that he was occupying, and her sleeve so happens to fall over where his fingernail was, so that if she might pick it up later, it could be a subtle motion.
Give me a dexterity legerdemain roll.
I still have pumped up dex from choosing to do that before,
Yep.
so I'm currently rolling with 3 dexterity. I do have a legerdemain of 2, and for this, because fuck him in particular, I will spend the willpower.
Sounds good.
2 successes.
You absolutely abscond with the little piece of the prince.
And she slips it daintily into her own pocket.
Having struck off the Carthage iconography in the first one.
See it. He doesn't quite realize it yet, but it is scratched right off.
He has not noticed yet. Then he also has Roman iconography on him, right?
That's right.
Then for the second bout, I am going to strike that off him, and hopefully then he'll notice.
He is going to be attempting the same set of maneuvers as he did before.
I am splitting the same way again. If I wasn't looking for 10s, this would be a fucking baller roll. But since I'm looking for 10s, I have no 1s, so I once again have 3 successes.
He does not add his armor.
Not as good. Only 3 successes this time.
He will resist all damage.
However, I did strike the mark.
Yes.
That's really all this was about.
You've stricken the mark, and his armor is completely useless on him. Whole sections of it kind of like dangle along and jostle about as he rides.
Mm-hmm. Is he attempting to strike on me?
Yes, he is.
I will once again be using my second action at penalty to use my shield to block some of his blow.
Sounds good.
Of 4 successes.
You parry his attack, and he rides on by, having made no contact with you.
For the final round, this is the third bout. I have now struck both parts. Roland doesn't even look to see if the guy's pissed. He just will assume he is or he isn't. It doesn't matter, and he will completely focus. And as the charge begins for the third bout, his body stills in a way that even in his first round it didn't, as he becomes a singular engine of destruction with Violentio. His back and the lance are perfectly still and straight as his hips and body move as one with Violentio. I am going to spend for celerity this round. I am going to split 3 ways, reserving 1, and now I will go for the full unhorse maneuver.
Sounds good.
And I will not be taking the full penalties because I'm using celerity. This round, I will also have Violentio use his own potence and spend a point of vitae.
For those looking on, there is clear fury in the expression of the sheriff, who is tilted towards him as he rides, but his form is sloppy, and it doesn't even look like actually unseating Roland is the objective that he has on his mind.
Lex, I can see that Roland is locked in on this charge, and I see that Emmerich is almost lost to fury. Having attended many jousts before, I know that when knights become very petty, they will often just strike the horse of their opponent. Can I get an empathy check on this?
Yes.
3 successes.
With 3 successes, you are aware that, yes, he intends to cheat. He also intends to kill Roland's horse. He is making an effort to humiliate Roland and make Roland frenzy and literally put Roland in as horrible a position as possible.
With a subtle use of shadow play, would it be possible in this moment to alter Emmerich's horse to change his ability to strike Violentio?
You may attempt to use obtemptation to spook the horse.
How subtle would that be, and would that, in my knowledge of obtemptation?
I want a manipulation plus subterfuge roll.
So I have no subterfuge. I have manipulation, but no subterfuge.
Yep, you can roll it.
I'll spend a point of willpower. That would be a single success.
Rob, go ahead and make a roll.
I will spend a point of willpower for this strike. Now I am only looking for 8s. The world wants me to succeed on these. I had so many 10s in this pool. I had 9 successes to strike him at diff 8. I do not have enough dice, so I'm going to have to roll twice here.
Yep. I'm making a discipline activation. He is using retaliatory terror.
What does that look like?
Well, he's behind a helmet, but he'll be letting out a hiss and will attempt to frighten Roland and make Roland flee the jousting tournament.
16 plus the automatic 2 makes it 18 damage going through.
He will take 14 points of bashing. He has 8 health levels.
Me too.
He is at -5 dice, though.
So the unhorsed maneuver is at +2 difficulty, so this will also be a difficulty 8, but this is strength. This is a strength plus ride with my own strength. So
His strength plus ride?
no, it's just how many successes I get.
Oh, then go for it.
And I will be spending for my potence.
When you connect, though, there is a thing that happens as a reflexive action on his part before you.
Fair enough,
any of
yeah.
this resolves. He is enacting a power called retaliatory terror. He gets an attempt at dread gazing you in response to being struck, and his difficulty is reduced by 1 for every level of damage he takes from the attack. He will be rolling a difficulty 3. Unfortunately, he has a -5 die penalty. He has 1 success. You don't get the unseat maneuver.
Oh, because I can't make any extra.
He cows you for a moment. The two of you clash. He rides very sloppily, and as he does so, he attempts to tilt down and skewer your horse. Okay. His horse is startled by this and throws him off its back. The crowd is shocked at the blow you delivered being so significant, so brutal, that it spooked his horse and threw him from his steed. People are standing, they're clapping.
Roland is overcome in the saddle with the need to bat down the beast as it rises from his retaliatory terror. And so Violentu, without being guided by Roland, will wheel back around until Roland can get his shit together. He will, because of the dishonorable move, instead of jumping down to give a helping hand back up like he did to the other guy, will ride past him back over to the prince's box and salute the prince, and then lower the lance to return the favor to Lady Dogmata.
She seems thrilled by your performance and happily retakes her favor.
Thank you, my lady. Your favor is what gave me the strength to succeed this evening where others did not. I am and continue to be very honored. And then we'll wheel back around and ride off the list because he's still a little fucking pissed. Like, it doesn't feel like a good win.
Path of Night, War of Ages is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages podcast set in the world of darkness. Alexios is played by Tim Davis. Catrinel is played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Roland Roncevaux is played by Rob Muirhead. Saïv is played by Erika Webb. Zorion and Iruña is played by Garrett Gabbey. Your storyteller is Lex Lopez. The music used in this episode was Don't Look Back by DaniHaDani and Maya Belsitzman. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by White Wolf and Paradox Interactive. Be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you find your podcast. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show at ko-fi.com/pathofnight. Look for us on social media at Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, K-Knights.
Mood killer.
What do you do?
I'm debating.
Master debating.
Oh my god.
This is the best episode we've ever recorded, guys.
Yeah. It's just.
The best thing we've ever done.
I don't need this anymore.
Also, she's a witch.
Erica, if you can
I
read-
need a frenzy.
Erica,
Okay.
Wait,
You're
wait,
at
wait.
minus 2 dice.
Yeah.
before we do that, we need Erica to retake.
Lex is like, we can still make this work. But
Look, I've seen the face of God. My God's scary, so you gotta...
it's not probably what you thought it would be.